Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Cruz MMA. Today, I'm with a very special guest. My guest has done some mixed martial arts action. He was a contestant on The Ultimate Fighter last year, and he loves to take the gloves off, competing BKFC Albuquerque this Friday. He's taking on Keith Richardson. He is Mr. Bekzhod Usmonov. Bekzhod, what's up, man?
Hi guys, hello to everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, man. So we met a few years ago. I covered a couple of your fights at Icon
Yes.
FC, Savannah, Georgia, and Orlando. Little did we know the future would lead us towards the bare knuckle route. How do you enjoy fighting without the gloves on?
I'm excited. I was waiting for something from UFC, from Bare Knuckle, from other organizations, and my management and me, we was waiting, and BKFC called to us, and they offered to us at least 4 fights this year, three for sure, and we accepted, and I'm happy. I'm ready to show good fight, good show, good performance last next week.
Absolutely. For you, it's been quite the journey. Obviously, from Tajikistan, moving to the United States, trying to chase this dream. What was that like? What was it like first coming to the US, trying to chase this journey?
That was big dream. I was planning for a long time, and I tried to come to US like in 2000, I think 1920, and then slowly like COVID started. I was stuck in Australia overall, and then finally in 2022 I came here and slowly started my journey. And yeah, how I you remember we was did in Icon of Sea, Orlando, and other places, Savannah, and yeah, and I ended up in Ultimate Fighter. Now, I have a long journey with BKFC, and we'll see how it will go. And the next week will be good opportunity, for belt for 135 in BKFC, and yeah, we'll see how it will go.
You're training over at Jackson Wink, obviously one of the
Yeah.
most famous gyms in all the world. John Jones, so many other great athletes have trained there in the past. What led you to there?
Um, I came to Jackson Wing because coaches. I was watching Coach Greg, Coach Wing long time ago. I understand how they teaching, how they holding pads, how they mentally preparing you, and somehow I understand like I want to be over there. The best fighters, and of course they've good management. They've good management over here, and yeah, and in 2022, I came from Australia to Albuquerque, and we'll see. And I like this place. It's nothing bothering you. You can train, you can run, mountains around you, high altitude, and I think it's a good place if you wanna, like follow your MMA journey, and because you have everything around you. That facility, like a lot of like fighters living over there, good coaches, food, and perfect place.
What was the MMA scene like in Australia? Was it tough to find fights out there?
Um, I was because it was COVID time, everything was shut down, and the organization was slowly try to make some events. I was fighting in Australia. There was like no people, just cage and referees, and it was tough to fight in Australia because it was like high restricted area, for COVID. And now finally it's over, and then the slowly promotions catching up, and much better right now.
In your MMA career, you've had some great performances. Some of those coming from those icon contests. One that I want to talk about, your icon in Orlando. Before the fight even happened, the day before, I don't know if you remember, but a huge brawl broke out. Big fights, everyone going crazy. What was it like being in the middle of something like that?
That was funny story about it. If you remember, there was some fights. I tried to stop them, and then they try punch me. I'm like, yeah, well, guys, stop! And then we just start fighting again. And Jorge came, and that was like incredible. Everyone fighting around you. I can see punches coming from here, from there. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? But finally we ended up in a good spot and no one get injured, and next day a lot of fighters showed good fight, and I think, yeah, that was funny. That was good story.
Shortly after that, you found your home in BKFC. Overall, What were the reactions like when you told people you were going to take the gloves off? What were they saying to you?
Um, when they sent it to me contract, I was like, I think I took a couple days to think about it very well, and then of course I was talking with management how it will go, and I think Carlo brother, it's a good opportunity to do something in new area, completely new. BKFC now growing huge, huge, huge everywhere around the world, and maybe this year I can go to Australia, back to Melbourne or Sydney because they want to make events over there. I'm like, yeah, maybe I can go to Australia again and fight near my friends, and yeah, next week will be like good performance, and it will be like a key to the next opportunities.
BKFC has so many great fighters on the roster. It's absolutely stacked. One of those guys, Jimmy Rivera, a guy that you were able to mix it up with,
Yeah.
obviously a guy who's a big name from the UFC. The contest didn't go the way you wanted, but what were the takeaways from that performance?
I a lot of people asking me about like divisions, how I'm jumping from 155 to 150, 45, and now finally I'm gonna kind of fight in my division. Usually now I'm walking around 145. I don't need cut my way too. And we was thinking about this fight 125 or 135. I accepted for 135, and we'll see after this fight how it will go. But with Jimmy, I understand it was my first debut, and I like your gloves. You don't have gloves, your arms like loose, and you can throw punches more faster, and you don't need wrestle. You don't need to do like any like wrestling stuff. I like boxing. Of course, you can, like easy cut your opponent and all that stuff, but that's the beauty. You can be like surgery, like a doctor, and in the I like it. I don't know how, but after first fight, after debut against Jamie, I'm like, yeah, I want to fight again. And then yeah, now I ended up with number one bantamweight, and we'll see how it will go.
One thing that I really find fascinating is when you compare
Yeah,
glove mixed martial arts, glove boxing to the bare knuckles side of things, is I think the gloves, it gives you a false sense of reality. When you're
yeah,
doing a street fight, I mean, you have to be careful. Obviously, BKFC, you have to be careful how you throw. You have to focus on accuracy because these are
one
very
hundred
easy to
percent.
break. If you break this in the first 30 seconds, you're done. Was a big part of that transition from glove MMA to bare knuckle, more on the accuracy, understanding when to throw the two, when to throw the three, and do it as safe as possible.
Yeah, I think it's the you have to you I completely agree with you. Every punch you have to think how you will throw, because even you winning fight, let's say round 5, and you winning all last 4 rounds, boom, you damage your arm and in your wrist something happen, you can lose this fight because 1 second can change everything. And I think a lot of fighters in BKFC coming from MMA or coming from boxing, they like crazy fighting, like, like I don't think so. It's smart enough. I think you have to be like a doctor, surgery, look, find that path how you can like boom, done. One punch can be, like can finish your fight. And I like about it how you have to be smart, have a plan, and just one good punch can put you in good spot.
We got to talk about a little bit. Obviously, you're on the Ultimate Fighter last season. Overall, how was that experience? How did you enjoy getting your cell phone taken away, being a house with a bunch of fighters for that taping?
When we arrived first week, we did like a lot of interviews because there was selection. But when we went to the house, when we like arrived, I'm like, oh my god, I'm in this place in Vegas. They took our phones, everything. And I'm like, whoa, I'm in the best place right now. There was Dana, other like huge UFC fighters who really famous. And of course, I'm glad I was in Alexa team. She brought like, I think 7 coaches or something like that. It was really, really good experience. Of course, I improved by mentally. How you can train with best fighters. Sometimes we will just sit down and talk about fights. And then we'll talk about some strategic explain how you can do some actions in some situations. I never did that before, and it was good experience to talk with best fighters in the world, because UFC, I think, number one will be for a long time. And I learned from Alexa, from other fighters, a lot of mental things. And of course, well, was funny to see Dana. He gave me like good bonus after the fight, and I did like fight of the season. But somehow we didn't catch UFC, because my last fight in LFA was like showing case. If I will win that fight, maybe UFC will call me, but they did not. And then now we signed up with BKFC, and we'll see how my path, my journey will go in this organization.
Following your time on The Ultimate Fighter, have you seen a lot more popularity? Like, are you getting a lot more followers, a lot more people reaching out to you? Do you see
Yeah.
a difference?
100%. A lot of people after the show, from my country, from Australia, from Russia, from Tajikistan, was texting to me, calling me, and of course how Tough was pushing everywhere they stream around the world that season 32nd, and it helped me to grow and show, like showing all my social medias. And in the now, you can type my name on Google, you will see all information. I'm like, whoa, that's cool, and of course, UFC PR, they did good job pushing information about me in social medias overall. And now when I'm going to somewhere, like sometimes in Albuquerque, random people like, oh, I know you, I saw you somewhere, like that. And I'm like, yeah, maybe on TV. And then they were like, oh, let's take picture, And then it helps me sometimes to understand I'm in good spot and I'm following the path. Someday, who knows, maybe I will come back to UFC again if we'll have this opportunity. 100% I will take in my division, 130, 125, and we'll see how it will go.
So many people watch mixed martial arts. So many people watch the BKFC, and I think they look at the big names like Conor
Yeah,
McGregor and John Jones as Habib's, and they're like, "Wow, it must be the best life ever to be a fighter." Little do they know, man, it's a very difficult lifestyle. When you're battling it out on the regional scene, you're not making much money. You're probably losing money. A lot of people have, wives. They have kids. You have to work
100%.
sometimes. You have to get up early, stay up late, pay to train. Literally sacrifice everything for this risk. When you
Mm-hmm.
make it to the bigger shows, the money gets better, but again, not what people think. You've done this for a very, very long time, man. What's made you want to keep sticking through it and keep punching and kicking forward?
I think it's in my blood. That's amazing question from you. If I'm not training 1 or 2 weeks, sometimes I have like this periods, and I'm like, no, my body wants to train. I want to go to sparring. It looks like in my blood because I was born in place where you're always doing some martial arts activities. In Tajikistan, when I was like 6, 7 at school, my parents already, at school, they know have like boxing sessions, like sambo, if you know about sambo, judo, they will like slowly teachers will start teaching you. And somehow a lot of my friends, me including, it's in the blood. I don't know why it looks like feels like I'm a warrior inside. I think this is why I'm in Albuquerque right now, nothing bothering me. And you don't need much money to live here overall. I think $1,000 is more than enough. Staying at the gym, training, and fighting, eating good food. I think that's perfect amount of money if you don't have some crazy expenses. And I think answering to your question, I think it's in my blood. I want to fight.
One thing a lot of people gravitate towards is you're a very happy guy. Your personality is very infectious. You're always has a smile on your face. You're always really happy. If they watch you fight, you come out to if you're happy and you know it. What was the whole process of picking that song?
um, I that's funny. Yeah, I'm always in this good mood before going to the cage, but in the cage I'm different person. I'm warrior of that. I'm a lion. And I know there's just me, my opponent, and one more guy, his name referee. That's it, no one else. And there is time I have to show my skills, how I did my training sessions, and in the just I have to win that fight. And in the to achieve my goals, to do next step.
All right, let's talk about the fight a little bit. You're taking on Keith Rockstar Richardson, a guy who's been on a roll lately, a guy who's probably really close to a title shot. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
You know, brother, we was watching his all fights plus MMA fights. We didn't find something like crazy what he can do. Of course, he's a like short guy, always coming and want to do like fast punches, and he was champion in 135. I saw him, I think, North Carolina when he was fighting against. I forgot last my fight in BKFC. I was fighting this a tall dude, and 145, I think. I saw Keith, and we kind of know each other. And I think this is like a good opportunity for me to win number one bantamweight, and in there BKFC can say, "Whoa, back. Maybe we'll give you title shot next one," because I was watching that guy who's now champ from Cuba, I think, 135, who's champ right now. On him too, brother. You know, nothing special. He's just throwing couple like combos, and in the I think he won that title against Keith because Keith missed that lucky punch, that right hook from that guy from Cuba, and I think that was like a lucky punch, and he won that belt. But we'll see how it will go next week. We can talk about like thousand plans, but in the cage, everything can be different, you know? So I'm planning to show a good performance overall, win, and see what PKFC will say for me for next fight. And then from there, we'll do next steps.
You know, you're the younger fighter coming into this one. Do you think the youth favors you in this?
I think it can affect, brother. I was fighting with example like Jimmy, and then of course Keith. He's 42 or 43. I think it's the not big deal, but I think it's a big deal about like cardio. You will getting like faster. You will get tired, and more about how you know like have this little spark inside you. You know, I don't know how Keith recovered after last his couple fights. You know, of course he won last fight, but that guy was like easy fight, my opinion. You know, looks like they give to him like guy who never fought again. He's like 1-0 or 0-1, and yeah, I think it's somewhere it's important age, but I don't think so. It's a big deal.
You know, for this one, you don't have to go very far. You're fighting in Albuquerque on Friday. Do you enjoy that? Do you feel that's more of an advantage, not having to travel, not having to get on a plane, home crowd?
Mhm.
Does that go in your favor?
Overall, no. I want to, you know, usually, um, always I'm fighting somewhere else, usually my opponent's hometown. I love when I have my headset, my backpack, 2, 3 days early, we'll like leave. I'm like on the plane, listening music, making some plan, you know, what I will do, how I will fight. But now I think it's also another good opportunity to show and grow in my town because a lot of people after the fight can come and they will know me. Hey, you was fighting in our town, you know? It will also help for me to grow and find maybe some sponsors or anything like this, you know, opportunities. But I think it's a good key too. I will see how it will go and I will enjoy it.
You know, we talked a little earlier about, fighters having to maybe work other jobs. Are you still working at Starbucks?
Yes, brother. I'm working at Starbucks still, like shift supervisor position. Plus, I'm running two my LLCs in Albuquerque, and yeah, doing two things at one time.
What were some of the reactions of your coworkers and maybe the Starbucks customers when they see what you do at BKFC and MMA?
um, some customers sometimes coming, and how I said to you previously, oh, I know you. I saw you somewhere like that, you know. But a lot of my coworkers, my partners, they already knew I'm fighting. I'm a professional fighter, and they always supporting. And in the a lot of my partners already have tickets to that event in Albuquerque. And yeah, I'm glad they want to see something different, you know. And also I have sessions for my partners one time per week. We together coming to Jackson Wing, and we're doing like some, you know, beginning boxing or kickboxing, and I'm trying to show to them some new path too, they can like, I'm introducing them MMA overall.
So many people watch combat sports in this day and age. Now we have a new
Yeah.
term. We call fans the casual fans now. These are the fans that are usually drunk. They like to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, watch the fights. They like to say all this crazy stuff like an MMA twist them and the you know what, and they like to talk all this nonsense. What do you think of these type of fans?
I think we need them. It's always good. I had couple times situation. It was, I think, in North Carolina after the fight. After my second fight, um, my fight just over. I changed my clothes and I just go like a visitor in the near the cage I was sitting, and then that guy was so drunk and then was like sharing his food with me. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Like he didn't recognize I was like like fighting like hour ago over there. And I think it's good. They just enjoy their time. I think they want to just see something like some fights, and it's good always. They coming from other side, so it's fun to watch them.
Your MMA journey, or rather, your combat sports journey's had a lot of twists and turns to it. Obviously moving to the United States, fighting at a bunch of different platforms, achieving success. Now, here we are now signed with the BKFC, a promotion that's really on the rise. Conor McGregor buying into it, doing massive things every time there's a BKFC show. Do you feel like now this is the year 2025? Or be a year where you can really start planning yourself in that 135 division and really, making BKFC your own?
Amazing question, brother. I think it's how I said to you previously. It's great, great, great opportunity in these two divisions, 125, 135, and who knows? Maybe this year I will be. I'm planning. I'm put this note in my book. I'm gonna be champ in these two divisions. I know 125 fighter, he's from Albuquerque, Dotson. I think he's still champ 125, and we was training together, we was like sparring together. We are very, very close. And I think now, how I said to you, it's a new industry. A lot of people now watching BKFC, and BKFC growing like really, really fast. They're going to Australia, Italy, United States. They're going, maybe someday they will go to Russia, and then I will think I will be number one who will go to Russia, because I was like living over there. I'm Russian, but yeah, we'll see how it will go.
It's kind of crazy when you look at promotions like BKFC. When you think about it, man, 15 to 20 years ago, combat sports was viewed as kind of criminal activity. You had boxing, but the MMA side of things, that was
Yeah,
hardly legal anywhere. I mean, they thought that was like people go to prison for doing that stuff.
exactly.
If someone were to tell you, maybe 15 years ago that there would be a promotion called BKFC and they would be doing what they're doing, would you believe them?
Um, you know, I think I was thinking about that when I was in Australia, and also when I was kid. I was watching Mike Tyson boxing, and sometimes I was watching, also when you're watching like YouTube boxing, somehow street fights will come. It was illegal. I'm like, what if some people will make it legal, and now here we go, everything now is legal. It's a big, big money show now. It's like a huge organization now, a lot of big sponsors jumping on it, and making like huge like events. It's crazy.
Absolutely. All right, Bekzhod, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Keith Richardson Friday, BKFC Albuquerque?
I'm ready. Stay tuned, watch BKFC Albuquerque. I'm ready to show a great fight.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for us. Bekzhod, thank you so much, man. It's so nice talking to you again. I can't wait to watch you. Big main event opportunity. This one's going to be a fun one.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone. And then, yeah, see you soon.
Absolutely. That's it for us tonight. I'm Carl Prusa. That's Bekzhod Usmonov. You can watch him Friday night. Take Keith Richardson, BKFC Albuquerque. Take care, fight fans.